One of the questions that I receive the most is, how come the picture that I see in the monitor when I print it out sucks so much? Anyone has an answer? Except those who have taken my course. Any answer? Any answer? Monitor not calibrated. Yeah, monitor not calibrated. Why? It's not calibrated.
You buy a tool calibrated.
You don't buy a tool, of course. You don't calibrate it, or you probably have purchased one of those very, very low-end calibrating device. Spider! Spider! There is a very, very good tool that you can purchase. I can't say any brand, unfortunately. Right? If you want some advice later on when you turn off the camera, I would be very happy to provide some advice about it. The thing is that when you put that device on your monitor starts displaying colors. And the colors that display are supposed to be the average of all the colors available on that specific display. So the more colors it displays, the better it is. Now, how does the device dialogue with the monitor? Obviously, it has to have a software. If it has a software, the software decides how many patches of colors to display. If the software is not powerful enough or the device is not powerful enough, it will display very, very few patches of colors in the range of 256, even 65,000 is not considered, 256 or even 65,000 is the range, so 256 is not considered fantastic. The higher is the number, the more accurate becomes your statistic. To make an example, is like today I take a measuring tape and I measure someone randomly in this room. And then I deduct that the worldwide population is that high. If I measure one person, it can be accurate. We had a very young guest tonight here. If I measure her, it wouldn't probably average with the citizen of Norway that are notoriously very tall. So the more people I measure, the more I make sure that my statistic is accurate. The same thing works for the monitor. The more colors you display, the more your statistic is accurate. Now, when you do the measurement with the colorimeter, which is the device that you apply on your monitor to measure the accuracy of your monitor, it will compare each of the colors with an expected result. For example, if you have a yellow on your monitor, which was supposed to be compared to another yellow in the software, the device will give you a result at the end that tells you the difference. Your monitor displayed the yellow in this way, it was supposed to be in this way. The measure happened in a value called delta E. Delta is a Greek letter, it is like a triangle. Delta E. The delta E should be below 2. Below 1 is not noticeable, meaning our eyes cannot tell the difference. When it's below 2, it's accepted for print. I've done certain calibration for my clients that didn't want to invest on the colorimeter, didn't want to invest on the monitor. I measured delta E 29, 26, 16. You're laughing. Go back and check yours. Go back and check yours. The one that I was scoring in Italy 6 months after 6 months was all below 1, except for one value that was 1.6. I spent on my monitor more than what I spent in my car. In Italy, cars are very cheap, yeah, not whiskey. But the fact is that when I see a picture on my monitor back in Italy and I print it out, those are exactly the same. In fact, if I use a photo viewer, those with the lamp inside that cast a light, which is exactly 5,500 Kelvin degrees, and I sit on the monitor with the same 5,500 Kelvin degrees for more than 1 hour, after 1 hour I have to touch to understand which one is paper and which one is the monitor. Haven't tried that experience? It's so deceiving. It means that your two pictures, the one that is printed and the one on the monitor, are perfectly the same. Now, this is just one of the parameters that allows you to make a good comparison monitor print, but it's only one. And unfortunately, most of the people is familiar with monitor, so they tell you monitor is not calibrated. That's the only answer. I made a list of those parameters that came to my mind just now, and I also came out with these other points. Let's say you have a camera here, and I take a picture. Of course, the picture that I take from here is going to be very damaged because I have a direct light from the projector. So, would that affect? Of course, that will affect. The goal, the ultimate goal when you think of printing out a picture is to make it look like what it was when you took the picture. Otherwise, why you spend so much time setting up the lights if then it has to look different? So, camera white point is crucial. Camera profile is crucial. Many people define the camera profile as the one that comes by default. I don't have too much time tonight, but those who have taken my color management class, they know that the one that comes by default might cut your color by 60%. Meaning, your camera captures 100, but keeps only 40. Scary, eh? Scary. Take a picture here, it's like 20 people remain, the other are not in the picture anymore. That's the kind of the amount of data that you lose if you use the default color profile. Now, when you import your picture in the photo editor, like be Photoshop, there is another loss, and that loss can be mismatch. If your camera has a specific color profile and your Photoshop has a different color profile, they don't match. Who rules? Who rules? I say the better one rules. And which one is the better? In my opinion, and I have argued in the past 5 years with so many designers that every time I see this sentence I have to put up front that you might disagree with this. In my opinion, is the profile that gives me less illusion. You can have the best colorful picture on your screen, but then you realize that the picture on your screen is too colorful, and when you print it out, it doesn't look the same, not because your printer sucks, not because your monitor is not calibrated, but because you are trying to achieve too much. Green, red, they go above, beyond the physics limits of ink. They are not achievable. Try to make your homework. Go back on Photoshop, create a batch of 02550, which is the pure green in Photoshop, maximum green. Print it out, it will be completely different. And not because of your monitor, not because of your printer, it's just because it's impossible to print out that one in CMYK. With cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, unless you purchase the Pantone ink or another producer of ink. In fact, when they give me the Pantone, I ran a speech a few months ago about Pantone. When they give me the Pantone code, I don't know what to do with it. They tell me, my logo is that Pantone. Yeah, go and purchase Pantone. Now I know that they sell smaller quantity of Pantone, so perhaps you might have your printer supplier that has that specific Pantone. But if I have to print with my home printer, I don't have Pantone. I have cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. That's it. So you can't possibly print 02550. Impossible. The next one is the paper white point. When I was in Italy, I got one of those spectrophotometer, which differs compared to the colorimeter because spectrophotometer projects lights and reflects. And I was spending the days measuring the white of paper. Now I can see many of the gentlemen here wearing white shirt. I'm sure that if you sit one beside the other, the two white points will be different. One will be a bit more bluish, a bit more yellowish, a bit more reddish. The same thing happened for paper. So if you are doing your very nice calibration and you feel that your calibration is a little bit bluish. But then you print on a yellowish paper, they compensate. But at the same time, if you think that your calibration is perfect, and then you print on a yellowish paper, the entire picture becomes yellowish. Normally, the paper that has more fibers of cotton inside, they tend to be yellow or much more yellow. Those that have been washed with chemical solvents, they tend to be a little bit more bluish. Pure white, I've never measured it. However, there are certain brands of paper that are very, very close to, to white or to neutral. In particular, one of my favorite brands of paper is Federiconi. Guess where is it from? How do you know? So, if you want to have accuracy, you're going to invest on the monitor, you're going to invest on your camera, you're going to invest on your lights, you're going to invest on your paper as well. And these are only the first 5 things that come to my mind thinking of color correspondence. Is there any questions so far? But then if I think a little bit harder, I will come out with more things. Like, for example, a conversion method. How am I intending to convert my picture? Do I do the right step from RGB to CMYK? Or do you go to image mode, CMYK, and you're done your conversion? Look, RGB goes from 0 to 255, CMYK from 0 to 100. The more RGB you have, the brighter it is. The more CMYK you have, the darker it is. CMYK has 4 channels, RGB has 3 channels. They are so different that you can't just go to image mode, CMYK, and it's done. No wonder they don't look similar. So that's about the conversion method. The conversion intent. This one is also very important. There are 4 conversion intents in Photoshop. If we have time, I will show you quickly how to pick one. However, if you go through the entire manual of Photoshop, and I did, you will find that says perceptual is the one for pictures. Perceptual. There are 4 of them: saturation, colorimetric, relative, colorimetric, absolute, and perceptual. Perceptual has to be used for photography. And guess why it's called Photoshop? Because you're supposed to edit photos. Saturation, you use it for InDesign or for Illustrator. Colorimetric has a different use. Perceptual is the one that you probably need for photography. Black point, as I say, when you think of RGB, 000 means black. There is no difference. But in print, every black is different. In fact, if you have 000, cyan, magenta, yellow, and 100% black, that's not even black. It's not pure black. Yeah, it's a see-through black, sort of. It's quite bright black. But if you add a little bit of cyan, it becomes a shiny black. If you add a little bit of magenta and yellow, it becomes a warm black. And I've already listed 3 different black. You can go on and on and on. There are dozens and dozens of different black. Which one are you using for your picture? In particular, for this one, there is one value called total ink. How much cyan, how much magenta, how much yellow, how much black.